it is definitely a tough path that we lead in life, but certainly a tough path immediately after lunch. Hopefully we're going to wake everybody up a little bit. We're going to have some fun. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank, first of all, I have to thank Yossi for making it possible for me to speak here today. It's really a treat. He and I have been threatening for a long time about doing something together, and it's an honor to be on his stage today. So a little bit about me. Let's talk a little bit about this and my company, Syyn Labs. Syyn Labs is a group of really crazy engineers and scientists, artists and designers. We have a molecular gastronomist chef. Sorry. Is that better? You can hear me now. Oh, good. Excellent. So we have basically a collection of really exotic disciplines that all sort of come together to create really wonderful stuff. We've sort of sometimes call ourselves experience wranglers, where we like to create extraordinary experiences for people. We've been called by Fast Company the League of Extraordinary Nerds. We've also been called a drinking club with an art problem. But I think that mostly we're known for this music video that we did for OK Go. And I'll let this play, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of our other work as well. Thank you. So that's, of course, an example of a Rube Goldberg machine. That, in this case, the one we did for OK Go, the band OK Go, for their music video for this song, This Too Shall Pass. And, of course, a Rube Goldberg machine, which we'll be talking a little bit about, is a really great example of a critical path. There's a nice analogy there. You can't leave anything out. Everything has to function exactly right, or you don't end up with the desired result. In this case, of course, painting the band. A little bit about this particular machine is this machine consisted of 89 unique interactions. Much more, maybe many hundreds of different interactions, but 89 unique interactions in any case. It took us 85 takes to do this particular thing over the course of a 2-day shoot, during which we got 3 successful full runs of the machine. We destroyed 2 pianos and 10 TVs in the process, went to the hardware store more than 100 times, and destroyed 1 high-heeled shoe when one of our engineers came back from dinner, Heather Knight. She left her shoes, nice pumps in a pile of debris, and one of the other engineers came along and thought, oh, this would make a really neat addition to the machine, and screw-gunned it into the machine, and before she knew it, she lost her shoes. Took us 3 months to build, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the development process and sort of my process, and how it led me to this crazy business work that I do. Typical development, of course, is pretty straightforward, and it's widely known, and it's I think probably been spoken of many times. First you plan, then you execute, you evaluate, you adjust, and you iterate. Right? That's the typical development process. Syyn Labs' process is a little bit different. Syyn Labs, we plan, we execute. We then evaluate, is something on fire? If the answer is no, sad, then we adjust and we iterate. If something is on fire, awesome, and we iterate. That's the basic. We love fire. The first thing, of course, is to identify the starting path. And in the case of me, my starting path, I wanted to be an actor when I was a kid. At 13 or 14 years old, my parents hated the idea, but they left town at one point on a vacation for 2 weeks. The agent that they had begrudgingly gotten me and was screening all their calls from had called when they were away, and by the time they returned, I had a role on a sitcom on NBC called It's Your Move. It was an odd turn of events, to be sure. When I was about 16, I was very self-assured. I got into some trouble, though, for using a computer to do my math homework. I got out of that same trouble because they figured out that, of course, in order to be able to do your math homework with your computer, you had to understand how to program the computer to understand the math problems. So I got away with it, but then I got busted again because I was sharing the answers with my friends. Everyone had a Hugh Hefner moment, right, in college. This was mine. So this is my initial path. I didn't really have necessarily a specific direction. I didn't know where I was going, but you make course corrections along the way. I started working for a number of different companies in both commercial real estate and in writing software for the travel industry. Whoops, we lost that slide quickly. Working in the travel industry, working in video games, running a video game company, running a company in genetics research, looking at the thoroughbred racehorse genome, running an event called Mindshare, which was a monthly sort of mini TED Talks, and then, of course, ultimately running the company that I'm running now, Syyn, which makes these extraordinary things. It's important, I think, then, to understand the connections and the role of chance. Had I not had all those experiences, many of which inform who I am today, it would be a very different sort of path I would have taken, I'm sure. So to understand the connections and the role of chance, I'm gonna show you some outtakes from the video that we just saw.
When the morning comes. When the morning comes. When the morning comes. Boring. When the morning comes. When the morning comes.
So we tried a lot of different things. This is a very small section of how many different things we tried, of course, along the way of development. And of course, I think that mirrors the path of an entrepreneur. You're trying 1,000 different things that have never been tried before, trying to come up with the key combination of accurate path that will get you to your goal. It's important to manage complications. Now, this is obviously a really important part of the entrepreneur's process. This is a piece we did for Chevy when they launched their new Sonic, and it's pretty self-explanatory. That was actually, there were many challenges to that one. First of all, we were working 100 feet up on a tower of our own design. We were streaming live to 6 cameras on the internet, so there was no opportunity for a do-over. And because it was internet-enabled, that is, the live clicks from the internet were actually driving action, that obviously upped the stakes considerably as well. We had the bungee jump, which was 100 feet high, into a 3-foot deep pool of water, and we had to hit the water, but we couldn't hit the ground. That made for a 1.5% margin of error, which of course is really problematic because the bungee cords themselves have a very unusual and sometimes unpredictable way that they stretch. This is a piece that we did for Red Bull. You get the idea, the helicopter flies away. Thank you. Of course, one of the big challenges there is that we're doing a Rube Goldberg machine, but this one incorporating people. In this case, extremely elite athletes who are doing things that are really, really hard. We had a short shoot, only 5 hours, and 50 cameras to both manage and ultimately edit in the final. It's a huge thing to manage complications, and it's important to celebrate all victories. This is a shot taken right after the OK Go video. The reason that I'm covered in paint is, of course, I shared the same fate that the band did. After we were done, they were kind enough to shoot me. In some cases, sometimes, we celebrate victories in other ways, in calmer ways. This is a picture taken of Times Square in New York, of course, after a job we'd done for Missoni. You can see that I am sleeping in the center of Times Square, somehow managing to take a nap in the middle of all of that. So briefly about the intersection of art and technology. We really believe that art is a reflection of the tools of our time, that technology plus creativity equals art and innovation. and that creative and authentic technology are really very compelling. That the intersection of creativity and modern technology is really wonderful. Some of the quick lessons: explore, keep your eyes open, be willing to make mistakes because you will anyway. Small stuff stinks, but it's absolutely essential. And that focus is the ability to say no. And that's, I think, one of the important takeaways for us, that when we're faced with the opportunity to do really anything, that what keeps us on track and delivered toward the ultimate goal is the ability to say no. Quick note on collaboration. We believe that you should find coworkers who are passionate, fun and funny, people who are willing to fail, people who are smarter than you. I think that's really valuable as well. And of course, all of these lessons are rules that apply to the making of Rube Goldberg machines, but they're really also lessons in making a life. And with that, I will say that, of course, this too shall pass, and say thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.